Hey, you crazy cats! 42's live streams and videos are simply not available on vinyl. You will have to go to the YouTubes for that. So if you want content about British traditions and culture, cutting edge social commentary from an unapologetically patriotic perspective, along with a side order of madness you simply will not find anywhere else, then this is the place for you. And to all those early adapters in the chat, don't forget to hit the notification bell. That's how you get the good stuff and make sure you never miss a tasty treat. So with that being said and done, squeeze yourself in. Let's get into it. You know you want to. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Please delete as applicable because the internet is worldwide and time zones are indeed a thing. Can I get a wee audio check in the chat there? And I'll say a couple of hellos. Peter Benton is in from the Waffle House. Glad to have you come across. Linda Hunter in from Down Under. Arpie, what about you, chum? Galileo's tongue. Thanks for coming along. Rags, my ulcer brother, is in. Hashtag evening brother. October homeland party. I'm getting new people here. Ooh, this is thanks everybody that's coming across. I'm going to guess this is from Sansom's. TikTok is in. England from the English. What about you, chum? Quack quack. It's the ducks. Newsnight Packer. That's a new name, but I think I know you. Mr. Herbert, evening, sir. Newsnight Pack is telling me the audio good. Andy Burshaw, welcome aboard. Alphabet Cat, did you like the cats at the start or did you miss those? I think that's Anglo-Saxon, evening, brother. Amanda Lee. I meant to get round to replying to your comment, but I didn't. I'm sorry. On the last video. There you go. Sorry. I need to get a bit better at that. The Earl Star. Evening. Edmondson, what about you, chum? And I'll start to do a bit of the housekeeping. First off, a very warm welcome to everyone who has came along from Sansom's stream. That was a cracking stream. As always, I missed a chunk out of it whenever I had to take Emma G home. Hold this. Pat and Steve Cray were on Newsnight. I need to hear about that story. This is sounding epic. Glad to hear it. Robert Ingram, what about you, chum? Sansom, evening, sir. As I was saying, welcome to everybody who came along from your stream, along with Toffee, and then you had DJ and PBC, and then Mr. Clive on. Cracking stream. I missed a chunk in the middle of it, but I really enjoyed what I heard. And oh, there she is. Emma G, evening, sexy. Where was it? Yes. Anybody that doesn't watch Sansom or Bonnie Lad or that stream that goes on before my one, if you're here, you're going to like their streams too. So you might want to try to get in that one earlier on the Saturday evening. 77 Brigade, what about you? Don Browning's dropped them from down under. The Willow Wookie, what about you? So there's that. What else do we have coming in the upcoming events? Oh, has Regs moved to a Tuesday? On Tuesday night, 7 p.m., Ragnar Ironspier's channel, Regs and Jack will be chatting. Oh, with the most excellent horse. I'm going to guess that that's been a move to accommodate horse. That would be a good move. Horse, that'll be a good stream. So there's that. Oh, 77 Brigade, welcome aboard. Glad to see that you're watching. And as always, you can catch John Davidson's streams on Tuesdays and Fridays. Keep an eye on his channel. It's hard to know exactly when John's going to be streaming because he's got health issues at the moment. However, scheduled for this Friday is a movie review where they're going to be going over the 1983 classic thriller Gorky Park. I've never seen that film, by the way. Starring Lee Marvin, Will Hunt, Brian Dorothy, Joanna Puccia. I'm going to guess that's Ellen. Hold on. Rags has got a strike. Rags has got a strike. That's why that one's been put back until he's allowed to stream again. Yes, as you all probably know, John Davidson is not well at all. What I am going to say is that he did a stream last Tuesday addressing both his illness and the madness that went on in this stream last Saturday evening. Now, I'm putting that link into the chat now. If you want to bookmark that, if you don't want to bookmark it now, the link to John's stream on Tuesday, where he went over everything very eloquently, and the man is a writer, a poet, and a songwriter, and you knew it was going to be eloquent. So there you go. That description is at the very bottom of that link is at the very bottom of my description. You can come back and find that. For the record, John has contracted lung cancer. He's going to be starting chemotherapy, or he was due to start chemotherapy on Friday. All I can say is words seem fucking not right, but there aren't any right words. But all I'm saying is I'm thinking about John, his family, the medical team. I hope their intervention works and he makes a good recovery. But if you want to find out all the stuff about John, that link will take you to it. The other thing I want to say in the housekeeping, yeah, it is. It is. It's very sad. And if I had better words, I would use them, but I don't. All I can say is best wishes to John and his family. My thoughts are with all of them. Yes, the other bit of housekeeping, the other show I like to shout out is Dave's Waffle House. If you want something lighthearted and a bit of banter during the evening, 8:30, Dave does a stream. He has banter and interaction with the chat. It's good crack. That's an option for you. If you're anything like me, you don't have a lot of options with that. Well, he did say he was going to lurk, and he did say he was going to give out points for people that turned up. So let's hope you get your points. Right, let's see. I'm going to go back to here. And that's my housekeeping pretty much done. The other thing I wish to address News Night Pakistan, Dave's Waffle House is Uh, is tops. It is. Let's see. Now, last week I read out a poem, and whenever I decided I was going to read it out, the idea was to attempt to cause the wonderful Emma G a few blushes, but for one reason. Paper Lynn, what about you? Has just jumped in with all the emojis, which I don't really get to see. Yes, I didn't actually get to uh, read out the poem while Amaji was here and make her burst, make her blush. So I'm going to do that now. So here we go. This poem's called For Emma. I would write this perfectly if I could. I hope that fact is understood. I've tried to write this many times, but I simply cannot find the lines. The words that would adequately express my inner feeling of success, the calm I feel when you're near, the love I have and hold so dear. And so those words were left unsaid, the discarded verses left unread. But since I met you, my life made sense. I have this strange feeling of happiness. The best years I have lived coincide with those that you were by my side. This is no coincidence. With you, I truly experience bliss. So why can I not write this perfectly? One day the reason dawned on me. My love outstripped my vocabulary. And once that fact was understood, I wrote down those words that I could. Understanding perfect is the enemy of good. So, as imperfect as this poem may be, I hope it expresses what you mean to me. Uh, so, that's me catching up with what I wanted Emma to hear me recite last week. And there you go. So, there's that. Yes, and the comments are good. And thank you all for the comments. The other thing that I'm going to address now, which seems an appropriate time, is I got a message from Budgie Burger. What about you, chum? Glad to have you aboard. Yeah, whenever I logged into All Poetry today, I had a message from them telling me it was my 11th year anniversary of being on that site. And it reminded me of a couple of things. That's where your boy 42, this persona, was born. I'd escaped from the witch. I wrote a couple of poems. I was looking for something to do with them. And I sat in my bedroom in my parents' house because couldn't afford a fucking house or rent or anything, and started uploading those poems to All Poetry. And then from then I got to Facebook. I was trying to campaign for better services for male victims of domestic abuse. I then went into Facebook. I found the men's rights movement for men's rights Northern Ireland. And one of the things I've done is assisted a small amount of people, but a substantial amount of people, because I'm only like one person, with getting housed, with getting services for escaping domestic abuse, with divorces, with getting access to their children via family court. And through all of that, I got quite a lot of information I was privy to that was very personal. And in order to keep everything properly segregated, I came up with a policy of if the person has said it themselves publicly, I'll talk about it. And if I have not heard the person say it publicly, I will not say it publicly because it's not my fucking place. And it's not my job to spread other people's business about. Nah. Last week on the stream, somebody came on here and was about to divulge information that they had got from a private email. I'm not going to make a big deal about it, but what I will say is at the end of the stream, I always pretty 90% of the time I put on a link and allow guests to come on and talk about stuff. If I do not believe that I can trust you to keep private things private and you're stupid enough to not know the difference, if you click that link to come in, I will click the ban from studio button. And that's all I'm going to say about all that. There are some people that will never be back on this stream. So there you go. Don't want to make a big deal out of it, but it occurred in this stream and I needed to address it. So there you go. Right. So, and with that, the other thing, we're now going to start talking about the Battle of the Dimond. And whenever I was listening to Sanson's stream, he was having problems pronouncing diamond, and it was at that point that I realized that my dyslexia had fucking got me to name the stream incorrectly. So, content's coming right now. So I had to change the name of the stream, and I had to change the had to change the thumbnail. But now we've got it. Battle of Dimond. The first bit of content we're getting is coming from Dan Winters Cottage.com. Share screen. There we go. Just want to check what this looks like on the. Right, that's going to be zoomed in. Right, just check this. Yep, happy with that. No, I'm dyslexic, but I am right-handed. The other thing is dyslexia goes in quite a broad band. My dyslexia isn't very bad. Where it affects me is my spelling is shite. And provided a word looks roughly like the way it's supposed to be, I do not realize it's been spelled wrong. Spell checks are wonderful apart from whenever you type in a word that is a word but not the one you want. It doesn't pick that up. So I had a fucking very strange word instead of diamond. Right. This is from Dan Winters' website. Dan Winters doesn't write the website. That's the name of the person from the cottage. A little list comes around a bit. Anyway, this account is written in Joseph Atkins' hand on the rear of an account ledger commencing in 1752, which, along with another Atkinson estate pages, was donated to Armagh County Museum in 1969 and is referred to as ARM 126 1969. In addition, there's another torn letter in copperplate handwriting in the ledger dated March 16th, 1852, giving a similar account. So This is coming from first-hand accounts about what happened in the Battle of the Dimond. For several days prior to the 21st of September 1795, this neighbourhood was disturbed by riots of defenders and on the 18th day of said month, they took possession of the gravel pit in Algamore. Now, the defenders are the Catholic Irish nationalists. Their possession amounting, I should suppose, to about 500 men and having a white flag hoisted, on which the whole neighbourhood of good, loyal Protestants became alarmed and assembled on the hill of Cairnhill opposite to Anglemore. And on the morning of said day, a skirmish took place in the townland of Tugai, in which there was a man killed by the name of McCann, a defender who had previously declared he would violate one of the prettiest Protestant girls in the parish of Tuckenlan. Some time on the day of Archdale Cope, Robert C. Cope, his brother, John Hardy, Councillor Archdale, with priests Taggart, Portland, and Tanner, came to my house. This is the big house owned by Joseph Atkinson. Where was I? And we all went to the Protestants where they were stationed at Conghill. So you had a bunch of both Protestants and Catholics trying to restore some sort of order. They would have been people that were in positions of power. I just want to check the chat. McGee can decipher most of what 42 is saying, and take it she means whenever I send her text and stuff. Yeah, she's a practice. Archdale Cope and Priest Tugger proposed to me to make the Protestants lay down their arms, whereupon I proposed that they should not do so until the Papists first lay down theirs, as I considered that the former were entitled to carry arms, whereas the others were not. On which Taggart spoke out and said that they should fight it out, to which I replied with all my heart. We, however, then rode over to the Papist party, where an old woman shouted, "There's Atkinson the traitor," and immediately one of the party levelled his gun at me, when a tenant, a woman who lived on my land, caught the gun and declared her landlord should not be shot. On which we rode off and got round to my house, when it was proposed that Priest Taggart should secure the Papists and I would secure the Protestants, and £500 each. These preliminaries were drawn up by Councillor Archdale and signed and witnessed by me, the priest. This money was to be forfeited by either of the parties breaking the truce. So they said the people representing the nationalists were given £500. The people representing the Protestants given £500. The idea is they go back and tell them, here, you can't just fucking kick off here because it's going to cost me £500. This day I kept the priests to dine with me, and at night they proposed staying at my house. I told them I had not beds for them, but said we might sit up all night, which we did. And during the night, several Protestants came to my house and declared the opposite party was firing at their houses. I said in the presence of the priests not to fire a shot, as it would gain him £500, but if they should attack their houses, then to put them to death if possible. On Saturday, they were skirmishing through the neighbourhood. No lives were lost this day. On Sunday, all day was perfect quiet and remained so all night. I rose up on Monday the 21st at around 5 o'clock, and immediately after the firing commenced on the Protestant houses at the Dimond. This we did not expect. Numbers came flying to my house. I gave out the ammunition I had. I had set out immediately with my family to the fort at Carmount, as I was well aware their great object was to destroy my house. On the road, I heard that the Protestants were winning. I then made my family return. I went to the Charlotte myself. I got Captain, possibly Villers, and 60 individuals to accompany me, and when we arrived at the Dimond, the battle was over. The men who were commanding was Captain McGarry from the White Cross from Armagh. There were about 300 of the defenders, well armed, and all strangers. Quigley did not appear, but I understand that he was the person who conducted them there. McGarry and about 16 were killed. Afterwards, I heard there were a great many more. This ended the Dimond fight, which is Ruddock's, in Ruddock's Grange, about a short distance from his house, and these are the facts that cannot be contradicted. That was transcribed by Jack Raymond and reviewed by Trevor Gary and Shane Barty at Armagh County Museum, 1st of February 2012. That was the first-hand account of what happened on the day. I'm going to come back on this because it's quite important that we have and keep first-hand accounts. I'm just going to check the chat here, see if there's anything you need to get involved with. Sorry, just checking the chat. There's Burns in. What about you, chum? Taggart, there's been a murder. Right. Uh, there are accounts from the opposite side, but they were not written at the time. And it's the same woke bullshit that we always get now. Uh, the account from the other side is that those Protestant bastards killed us, which is what happens in a battle, pretty much. No, that's the account of the actual battle itself. Now, I'm going to talk about not just the battle, but the aftermath and the history of Orangism. Oh, there's your 11 o'clock alarm. Right. Share screen. Share screen. Right. Just want to check the chat. Right. What the fuck? I have no idea what the fuck's going on here. I got a private number called me, and they've been told they cannot speak to me. Yeah. Right. Back to StreamYard Studio. I'm going to get this a little bit larger. Right. This is from the the Museum of Orange Heritage, who do quite a nice fry, although their services went down held recently. Right. I'm going to have to zoom this back in again because it's not fitting on the screen. Right. The Royal Orange Institution was founded after the Battle of the Dimond on September 21st, 1795. The skirmish was between the Roman Catholic defenders and the Protestants of the area. When it ended, the Protestants formed a circle, joined hands, and declared their brotherhood in loyalty to the crown, the country, and the reformed religion, which is Protestantism. The first shots of the diamond were fired by the defenders on Monday, September 21st, 1795. The armies, in brackets, faced each other across the valley. The Protestants on Cargeen Hill and the Roman Catholics on Fergot Hill. The Protestants routed their enemies without suffering any casualties. The defenders who were killed have been estimated figures between 16 and 50, and an eyewitness account puts the number 30. It had been the intention of the Roman Catholics to drive the Protestants out of the country. The authorities kept a low profile, apparently satisfied to leave the combatants to it. The local commander, Captain John Guilford of the Royal Dublin Militia, stationed at Portadown, was to be accorded pivotal place in the founding of the institution. Guilford was present at Sloane's Inn in Loughgall, where the Orange Order was founded. Present at the first meeting of the Orange Men were James Wilson, uh, one second here. Rags, are you sending me links? Just checking this. I think Rags is sending me links. Nope. And what the fuck's going on with this phone? Right, that's okay. I've got that logged. It's, uh, right. Present at the first meeting of the Orange Men were James Wilson of the Dang, Thomas Sinclair of Derryslap, and James Sloane, the Loughgall innkeeper at whose house they were held. Sloane was evidently regarded as the first leader. At the beginning of the membership was small, labouring. Put my teeth back in, start again. At the beginning, the membership was of the labouring and artisan classes. Only few of the gentry joined, among them Viscount Norland of Dungannon. A small number of professional men were represented by Joseph Atkinson, the Reverend George Mundell, curate of Drumkey, where we had quite the problem about getting the parade to Drumcree Parish Church. The Portadown district colours are still halfway on the road to that church. So there is that. The Reverend George Marshall, rector of Drummoor, County Tyrone, Captain Clark from Summer Island, nothing to do with the Wicker Man. John Burnham of Lurgan, and Major Waring of Orangetown. The vendors of Church Hall also became members. The institute grew so rapidly that the district and the county that district and county lodges were formed. The several counties that had their own rules and soon needed to be recognised that there should be a uniformity of practice, and with this in mind, delegates meeting was held on the 12th of July 1796 at Portadown, where the idea of a Grand Lodge was also mooted. Woosley Atkinson of Portadown was appointed secretary, and the requested to issue printed lodge warrants. These had been issued previously by James Sloane on pure quality paper and handwritten. So, what a lodge warrant is, it's a document from the Grand Orange Lodge of Ireland that sets out the formation of a lodge. And whenever you see the parades in Northern Ireland and also Scotland, uh, some down in Toffeeland, in Liverpool, and other places around England and wider across the world, these people with the big orange banners and whatnot, that's who these people are. That's the Orange Order that that grew up from that battle and the decision to create an organisation to defend the crown and the faith. The first Orange Parades were held on July 12, 1796 at Portadown, Lurgan, Warrenstown. By 1798, large parades were held in Belfast, Lisburn, and Lurgan, where the officer commanding in Ulster, Lieutenant General Lake, inspected the parade. In the rebellion of 1798, the Orange men were on the side of the crown. 1798 rebellions is where the Catholics tried to overthrow the British people, or the Irish people tried to overthrow the British in Ireland, and had much to do with the defeat of the United Irishmen. Which is very interesting because we keep on being told that because they were called United Irishmen that they were Protestants also, but they were not Unionists, and the people who had declared themselves Protestant Unionists were on the opposing side. What a fucking shocker. After the quashing of the rebellion, the English government, with William Pitt the Younger as Prime Minister, decided to unite the London and Dublin governments. This decision was deeply resented by most Orange men, though the Grand Master Thomas Finner was in favour of the plan. The Grand Lodge issued statements in December 1798 and in January 1799 advising Orange men strictly to abstain from expressing any opinion pro or con upon the question of legislative union between this country and Great Britain, because such expressions of opinion and such discussion in lodges would lead to disunion. The Act of Union was passed on August the 1st, 1800, and became law on January the 1st, 1801. With the Union in reality, there were no more loyal supporters of it than the Orange men. So at the start, they weren't 100% sure about Union, but once it became a thing, they were getting behind this. The campaign of Daniel O'Connell for Roman Catholic emancipation was to be made a decisive factor in British politics for the next 20 years. In 1823, O'Connell formed a political religious organisation, the Catholic Association. The Grand Master, the Right Honourable George Ogle, 1801 to 1818, Thomas Finner had resigned in 1801, and other Orange MPs had the constant task of defending the institution against attacks at Westminster by parliamentarians who favoured O'Connell and his cause. Because even back then, there was people in the British Parliament that don't like people looking too fucking British. They had the sympathy of Robert Peel and those members of the government who recognised the need for an organised band of loyalists in Ireland, which would provide recruits for the yeomanry, which had the task of keeping peace in the country and discouraging rebellion and inclined strife. With the rebellion on the end, the lodges were to be less fighting societies and more political and fraternal clubs. They needed some sort of idea to hold them together, and the Gibbon and Musgrave were men of ideas. Patrick Dungannon was Grand Secretary of the Grand Lodge of Ireland, and Sir Richard Musgrave, the historian of the 98, was Treasurer. Those two men would provide able apologists for the order, and to them must be credited the consequential developments of the Orange Institution thinking and practice. In March 1823, the County Armagh Grand Lodge issued a statement. We feel not less surprised than grieved that Orange Association should be accused of illegal interference with the state or branded as intolerant and persecuting faction. While in this land we have and while in this land have the laws been so well enforced and so cheerfully obeyed as in those districts where the Orange Association has more power and influence. We call on them to show in all outrages and rebellious insults which have disgraced every name in Ireland, where had the true Orange men been found who were not raised by the side of these laws. So, 1823. 1823. If you think you are being criticised by the state for being a patriot, welcome to the party. When Sir Robert Peel became Chief Secretary for Ireland, the Orangemen had someone who was anxious to be fair to them. The O'Connellites recognised this as partially as the Protestants called him the Orange Peel. Fuck me. How could you not make that joke? The Orangemen needed this protection. For in the 2 years of his secretaryship, the attacks on the Orange movement were many and furious. From 1815, the institution had been seriously affected by internal disputes. Many of them were about lodge ritual and the attempts to form higher orders. It was to stay in the doldrums until the Orange Order revival, which brought about the agrarian troubles in 1820s, the resurgence of the O'Connell movement, and a new vice-regal administration with questionable arms so far as the Orange men were concerned. This dispute about the different levels of Orangeism, a decision was made that there would not be levels or grades to Orangeism, and that's whenever the Royal Black Preceptory was formed. And I'm just going to check the chat here. Yeah, it wasn't new. Right. Okay. Yeah, we're fine with that. Uh, it's in somewhat of a bit of a decline. The Belfast parade used to take 5 hours to pass any given place. It's now down to about 4. So it's still there. It is still there and going. Uh, in January 1820, the Orange Central leadership was strengthened by having the Grand Lodge meet twice a year in February and August, and a committee was appointed to take care of affairs of the institution between the meetings. The unlawful Oath Act of July 1823 would be named that Rohibbian men affected Orange men too. In March 1824, an attempt to meet the requirements of the Act of the Grand Lodge commissioned the production of a new constitution and rules which would be legally acceptable to the Parliament in every particular. It later prohibited demonstrations on the 12th of July, and in doing so, endangered its authority over the private lodges. In spite of the risk, James Filler appealed to all Orange men to act in the most strict conformity with the law, with with the order, which tends so strongly to show how much the members of the Orange Association are willing to sacrifice to the feelings and even prejudices of their fellow subjects, and how desirous there are no excuses should be left for ascribing any of the disorders which affiliate Ireland as a conduct. For example, historians say that while complete conformity to these instructions was not obtained, on the whole they were obeyed. In 1824, the government was faced with O'Connell's Catholic Association and a threat to take over the country. To meet this challenge, the government passed the Unlawful Societies Act of 1825, outlawing certain named organisations. The Roman Catholic lobby at Westminster insisted that the Orange Institution must be included in that prescription, and dissolved itself on March 18, 1925. The final meeting of the Grand Lodge was held in Dublin with Colonel Platt in the chair. A statement drawn up and addressed to all lodges says, "At no period was the institution in more flourishing condition or more highly respected in the number added to its ranks, notwithstanding which the Parliament of the United Kingdom have considered it necessary that all political societies should be dissolved. Of course, our society is included. It therefore becomes our duty to inform you that any lodge meeting after the estate commits a breach of the law." While that was the attitude of the leaders, their extortions fell on deaf ears. The lodges continued regardless. What happened in reality was the leadership said, "By the way, if you want to carry on with this, it is effectively breaking the law, and that's on you." And they went, "Yeah, we're going to do it. Fuck the law." On the reorganisation of the institution within the law, His Royal Highness Ernest Aphicus, fifth son of George III, became the Grand Master in England in 1827. The institution had been revived when the Act in 1925 lapsed. At a Dublin meeting on September 15, 1828, Cumberland was elected Grand Master of Ireland when he resigned the office of membership of the order. Its connection with royalty ceased. The O'Connell campaign against the Union caused Protestants to fear for their future and the country. They turned in large numbers to the institution for leadership and protection in their determination to maintain the Union. When this question of the right of Orangemen to march in procession was asked, many felt that the leaders were far removed from the rank and file in their thinking. It was contended that the leaders were only concerned with the Constitution, repeal, and the situation of the established church. The determination of the Orangemen to have their processions and demonstrations took no thought in the effects of those on Westminster and their enemies there and elsewhere. The issue was again debated at Westminster in 1836, and the Whig government, dependent on the support of O'Connell and the Radicals, decided to move against the institution. The movement was delivered by King William IV on February 25th in 1836, when he said he would be pleased to take such measures as may be seen as advisable for the effectual discouragement of Orange lodges and general of all political societies, excluding persons of a different religious faith, using secret signs, symbols, and acts by means of associated breaches. On February 26th, the Home Secretary received an assurance by Cumberland that he would take immediate steps to dissolve the Loyal Orange Institution in Great Britain. The promise was kept officially, and the institution was dissolved again in England and Ireland. Officially. The Northern Irish refused to even think of dissolution. The Grand Lodge might agree to it, but it had no power to dissolve the many the order. Many lodges acted as they had done in 1825 and just carried on as before. The Armagh Grand County Lodge resolved on June 13th, 1836, that the business of the institution in this country be entrusted, as in the early days, to Grand Lodge of the same until the Grand Lodge of Ireland resumes its function. The Grand Lodge was reconstructed on November 15th, 1837, in Dublin with Lord Rudin as Grand Master. In the struggle for the Union, a Grand Lodge of Ulster was formed on February 12th, 1844, with the aim of giving mutual support and defence to those perilous times. In 1845, the Party Processions Act having expired, the Orange men were openly demonstrating in many places. The Grand Lodge was reconstructed again on August the 3rd, this time at the Town Hall in Enniskillen, and the Earl of Enniskillen was elected Grand Master. The Roman Catholic ribbon men were most effective in the spring of 1884. They killed a few people and attacked the Orange procession at Dolly's Bray. The aftermath of the affair was the dismissal of Lord Roden and William Burrs and the County Down Grand Master and his brother Francis and the Commission of the Peace. Following the fracas at Dolly's Bray in 1850, the Party Processions Act was introduced. It was aimed at preventing Orange and Green organisations from marching on their special days. William Johnson of Ballykeag organised a demonstration against it on the 12th of July, 1867. He led Orange men on a procession from Newtonards to Bangor. Altogether, 100 lodges walked in the parade with 40,000 people as participants and spectators. While Johnson and 100 others were named for prosecution, only he and a few others were charged, and only he went to prison. The others had pleaded guilty and were fined. Johnson refused bail set of £500 for himself and two other suitors of 500 each. Johnson served a few days short of 2 months, being released on April 27th, 1868. 10,000 people were at the prison gate the day to greet him, and there were bands and party tunes. Bonfires were lit on many of the hills of Ulster that night. What William Johnson had done on the 12th, 1867, was distasteful to the Grand Lodge, but he was unconcerned, for he had the evidence that the membership were behind him. When the act was repealed, Orange processions were resumed everywhere in the country. The first International Orange Conference was held in the Belfast Orange Hall on July 18th, 1866, in response to a suggestion from Canada where Orangeism was now strong, and where they say brother Sir John Macdonald got the notion of the Confederation of Canada from the organisation of the Grand Lodge and of British America. The Orange men of the world came together and then to provide a means of consultation in the new Imperial Grand Orange Lodge Council. So there you go. There's the formation of the Orange Lodge as it relates to where it came from and the Battle of the Dimond. Yeah, well, I will say about Donegal's Orange parades is they were quite similar to fucking Hitler's Olympics. It's there to try to say that if we have an All Ireland, everything will be like Donegal and we'll all be accepted. But the fact of the matter is, we don't. Well, Wookie is quite correct. Politicians always try to appease the people who who don't like them and are determined to the detriment of the people who are loyal to them. TikTok. My worst memories. 21st July 1972. I was like 7, maybe 8-year old child playing on my street, and I heard 21 bombs go off in the matter of 90 minutes in Belfast city centre. Uh, that was the day I found out that people were trying to murder us. And on the 6 o'clock news, there was uh, footage shown of firemen scraping bodies in the bin bags. It was not good. Uh, if you look up this channel, Bloody Friday stream, it did a thing where we went through all the bombs in the proper timeline. That was quite good. Well, good's not the right word, but it gives an idea of what some sort of an idea. And actually, while we're on this, let's see. I might as well get a little. Yeah, we'll do this one. Right, we'll do a little bit of we'll do since you're asking, well, about the Orange Order currently. Here's a little video for you about the 12th of July in Belfast. Hold on, did I actually stream that? Sure, I did. Right, hold on. I'm just going to try and find a bit to pause this on. Right. See these dudes in the See these dudes in the orange collarettes are the members of the Orange Order. The bands are the people that escort them to and from where they're going. The Each lodge will carry a banner, which you can sort of see here, that large thing on the poles. That banner will tell you the name of the lodge, probably what district they're in, and it'll have some form of historic emblem painted on it. They're all they're made of silk and they're hand painted. So that's what an orange parade looks like, basically, and sounds like. No, the army that parade only lasts 4 hours. Like it's still there. Uh well, before the before the troubles in 1969, in the Orange Halls there would have been dances and stuff, like tea dances. You could have went and danced and met people and all. And they would have been attended by both Protestants and Catholics, because nobody actually really gave a fuck. It was somewhere to go, have a dance, whatnot. Uh, the lodge that ran it made the money on the tea and whatnot that they sold. Uh, Best kept secret. I will try to speak a little slower. That might help you. The Belfast accent is not easy to get the grips with. So prior to the troubles, there would have been tea dances on a Saturday night, and Protestants and Catholics would have went to it. Uh, Once the troubles happened, they all had to stop because there was one incident in Clifton Street Orange Hall where people pulled up after it uh, in what looked like taxis, but they weren't taxis, and 4 people ran out and jumped into the taxi, and the taxi went away and didn't go to where it was supposed to go, and those people ended up dead. So yeah, these people did get targeted during the troubles. I did. I did best kept secret. I'm glad you were able to understand that. Right. So that's pretty much formation in Orange Order, where it's at today, uh, and the Battle of the Diamond. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about would be the yeah. It's Belfast is a whole other level. There is that. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about the Golden Hind. And before we do that, let me say it has become fucking more difficult to do this show than it was. Uh, because getting the links to the stories that haven't been redone, aren't suffered from revisionist history, uh, is becoming more and more difficult. Uh, well, Wookie, thank you very much. I'll take it, Tony Rodney or Toby Rodney. I will take it. Uh, yeah, yeah, it's becoming increasingly difficult to get the story in a clean manner without the rewriting. For example, whenever I wanted the the circumnavigation of the globe in the Golden Hind happened this week. What I do is I go and look at what happened in this week in history. That's what I stream about. And getting a story about the Golden Hind that didn't involve fucking slavery was fucking impossible. It's like the stuff that you want to read about we'll give you that as a side order. Here's a fucking load of information about slavery on a side order of what you wanted, because they're how history is written is they give you the dates of what happened, they give you an overview of the facts, and then they put opinions about why it happened, how it happened, what happened before it, what happened after it, and the facts are remaining the same, but the rest of it, anything it's opinion, is being rewritten to white man bad. So it's becoming more difficult to actually do this. But anyway, the Golden Hind, the ship that sailed around the world. And this is coming from Essential England with a nice little picture or a photograph of Stonehenge. What he's saying is, I've always loved pirate stories, and I sort of grew up reading about the daring do exploits of Sir Francis Drake and Sir Richard Grenville of Florshire and Sir Walter Raleigh. So it's clear that no trip to Devon would be complete without visiting the replica of Francis Drake's ship, the Golden Hind, which is moored in Brixham Harbour. The Golden Hind is more than just a pirate ship, of course. It's a ship with a history of her very own, and a mysterious history at that. Between 1577 and 1580, Sir Francis Drake's ship, the Golden Hind, sailed right around the world for the first time in recorded history. The first time in recorded history that the ship had done so. Uh, the reference to pirates is actually more a privateer. Whenever we were with the Spanish, we allowed ships that were British, mostly English to be fair, to have cannons and stuff and take the gold off the Spanish because it helped the country. Basically fighting a war on the merchant navy end. Right, so the Golden Hind is a replica in Brixham Harbour, can be toured throughout the spring and summer each year, and gives a fascinating opportunity to imagine what it might have been like to travel on an Elizabethan ship. The Golden Hind began her life known as a pelican, even though nobody really knows when, where, or by whom she was built. And in 1577, she sailed from Plymouth, just down the Devon coast, to South America and around Cape Horn. Her captain was Sir Francis Drake, sailor, adventurer, businessman, and to be honest, a pirate, a privateer. As well as taking a ship on the voyage of discovery to the New World of the Americas, Drake's objective was to capture as many Spanish ships as possible during his travels. Spain was a major European power in those days, tremendously wealthy from gold found in the Americas. And Catholic Spain was invaded by the Protestant Netherlands, so the balance of power was leaning precariously. England's Queen Elizabeth declared war on Spain. Officially, the Queen knew nothing of piracy, of course, but Elizabeth greatly approved of Drake's activities. Not only did they keep the Spanish on their toes, but they brought literally tons of gold, spices, and other valuable commodities to England, much of which ended up in the royal treasury. This turn financed further expeditions and ultimately helped to defend England when the Spanish Armada attacked in 1588. From Cape Horn, Drake sailed up the east coast of South America, across the Pacific to the Philippines. The Golden Hind went on to Indonesia, gathering treasure as she went. From there, she sailed across the Indian Ocean and found and around Africa, finally calling at Sierra Leone before arriving back at Plymouth 3 years after she left. Standing on the deck of the Golden Hind in Brixton Harbour, it seems a miracle that Drake and most of his crew could survive such a long and dangerous journey in such a very small and primitive wooden ship. The Golden Hind is about 120 feet long, 20 feet wide. 4 other ships had set sail from Plymouth with Drake, but all 4 had either sunk or been damaged or cannibalized to outfit the Hind, a statistic that makes her success even more striking. On his return, Drake was knighted by the Queen on the deck of his ship, an event that has inspired many patriotic paintings and prints. Apparently, Drake then treated the Queen to a banquet on the same deck, which seems totally unlikely when you see the size of the ship. There's barely space to turn around, let alone set out tables and chairs. Later, Drake's ship was moored at Deptford as a permanent reminder of his achievement. The replica in Brixham then contains a 4 centuries-old tradition of faulting and exhibiting great English ships. She has been there since 1963 and she is well worth a visit. The ship is moored beside the quay where there are shops, hotels, excellent fish restaurants, chippies and pubs. Everything you need in an English town. And she swims among the fishing boats and dinghies like a whale among minnows. Events linked to her include educational days, park reenactments, and sea shanty festivals. And if you arrive early and have the place to yourself for a while, you can imagine yourself living the life of a pirate. So there you go. That's about the Golden Hind. And I think we may actually have a wee sea shanty. Let me get to StreamYard. Well, we'll have a wee sea shanty. And then do the Spanish Armada. I think we're going to have the last of the privateers. If I can find that. Right, yep. Here we go. We're going to have Bart's Privateers.
Oh, the year was 1778. How I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. A letter of marque came from the king to the scummiest vessel I've ever seen. God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. But I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. How well Sid Barrett cried the town. How I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. For 20 brave men, all fishermen, who would make for him the Antelope's crew. God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. But I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. The Antelope sloop was a sickening sight. How I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. She'd a list to the port and her sails in rags, and the cook in the scuppers with the staggers and jags. God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. But I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. On the King's birthday we put to sea. How I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. We were 91 days to Montego Bay, pumping like madmen all the way. God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. But I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. On the 96th day we sailed again. How I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. When a bloody great Yankee hove in sight, with our cracked 4-pounders we made to fight. God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. But I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. Now the Yankee lay low down with gold. How I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. She was broad and fat and loose in stays, but to catch her took the Antelope 2 whole days. God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. But I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. Then at length we stood 2 cables away. How I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. Our cracked 4-pounders made an awful din, but with one fat ball the Yanks stove us in. God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. But I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. The Antelope shook and pitched on her side. How I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. Barrett was smashed like a bowl of eggs, and the main truck carried off both me legs. God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. But I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. So here I lay in my 23rd year. How I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. It's been 6 years since we sailed away, and I just made Halifax yesterday. God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. But I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers.
There we go. You've got a sea shanty, and I got a nice fresh cup of coffee. That's a pretty good deal. Yep, we did indeed. Not only that, the moment a slave set foot on a Royal Navy vessel was the moment that they became a free man. So there's a little sea shanty, and now we're going to have a little look at the defeat of the Spanish Armada. Actually, we'll do Drake. Drake would be the proper one to do next. Share screen. Share screen. For Sir Francis Drake from Visit Plymouth. I'm going to zoom that in one. Zoom that out one. Sir Francis Drake was born in Tavistock, Devon, around 1540. He went to sea at an early age. In 1567, Drake was made one of the first English slaving voyages as part of the fleet led by his cousin John Hawkins, bringing African slaves to work in the New World. Right. In 1577, Drake was secretly commissioned by Elizabeth to set off on an expedition against the Spanish colonies on the American Pacific coast. He sailed with 5 ships, but by the time he reached the Pacific Ocean in October 1578, only one was left, Drake's flagship, the Pelican, renamed the Golden Hind. He travelled up the west coast of South America, plundering Spanish ports. Right, I think this is just about the round the world trip. Yep. Right. Travel took him to Malacca, Celebes, Java, then round the Cape of Good Hope. He arrived back in England September 1850 with a rich cargo of spices, Spanish treasures, and the distinction of being the first Englishman to circumnavigate the globe. In 1581, Elizabeth I knighted Drake on board his ship, the Pelican, in recognition of achievement. Drake was now one of the most celebrated and respected seamen of his time. He became the Mayor of Plymouth in September 1581. He went on to become a Member of Parliament in 1581, 1584, 1593. Popular legend has it that on Plymouth Hoe, on the 20th of July 1588, that the Elizabethan sea captain Sir Francis Drake was playing bowls when the first news of sightings of the invading Spanish Armada was brought to him, whereupon Drake obstinately signified his wish to merely continue his game of bowls undisturbed. A cool reaction fabled as an act of English heroism. In reality, however, Drake and his fellow captains probably knew full well that the wind and tide conditions at that particular moment precluded the English fleet from putting to sea immediately from Plymouth. When he eventually set to sea, he defeated the Spanish Armada, and this is what he is possibly best known for. Drake's last expedition with John Hawkins was to the West Indies. The Spanish were prepared for him this time, and the venture was a disaster. Drake died on 20th of January 1596 of dysentery off the coast of Portobello, Panama. Hawkins died at the same time, and their bodies were buried at sea. So that's an overview of Sir Francis Drake. I'll take that down. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Thanks for coming over, Piper Lynn. Never let a day go by without mentioning how we beat Spain. Rags, I'm honestly not sure. I'm honestly not sure. Now we're going to have a look at the defeat of the Spanish Armada. Go to the page. Back to StreamYard. Present. Share screen. Share screen. The history of the Spanish Armada. The Spanish Armada was. Hold on, I'm going to check this actually. There it is. It's on the screen. Anglo, I am not sure. And I didn't even look that up, but it's very possible. There was a lot of head chopping off went on those days. I think I could zoom this in just a little. The Spanish Armada was the defining moment of Elizabeth I's reign. Spain's defeat secured Protestant rule in England and launched Elizabeth on the global stage. The Spanish Armada was one part of a planned invasion of England by King Philip II of Spain. Launched in 1588, the Fascinal Armada, or the most fortunate fleet, was made up of roughly 150 ships and 18,000 men. At the time, it was the largest fleet ever seen in Europe. 1 second, I need to sneeze. Willowookie, I have no idea. Apparently, everybody fucking came to Ireland and settled, so it's impossible to say. Why, thank you. Oh, I don't know why I'm getting the sneezes. It's not good. At the time, it was the largest fleet ever seen in Europe, and Philip II of Spain considered it to be invincible. Well, we'll see how that fucking went. Years of religious and political differences led up to a conflict between Catholic Spain and Protestant England. The Spanish saw England as a new competitor in trade and expansion in the new world of the Americas. Spain's empire was coveted by the English, leading to numerous skirmishes between English pirates and privateers. You can take out the word pirates, the word privateers. We've even had a song, that song about the privateers. There we go. Spanish vessels. English sailors deliberately targeted Spanish ships around Europe and the Atlantic. This included Sir Francis Drake's burning over 20 Spanish ships in the port of Caldas in April 1587. Meanwhile, Sir Walter Raleigh had twice tried unsuccessfully to establish an English colony in North America. Plans for invasion accelerated, however, in 1587. The turning point came following the execution of Mary Queen of Scots, Spain's Catholic ally. The killing of Queen Mary of Scots, ordered by Elizabeth, was the final straw for Philip II in the religious tensions between the two countries. In 1588, Philip II intended to sail with his navy and army, a total of around 30,000 men, up the English Channel to link up with the forces led by the Duke of Parma in the Spanish Netherlands, from where they would invade England, bring the country under Catholic rule, and secure Spain's position as a superpower of Western Europe. Beacons were lit as soon as the Armada was sighted off the English coast, informing London and Elizabeth of the immediate invasion. Again, with the beacons, this is how we traditionally spread news and information, in the same way whenever the guy was let out of prison in Ulster for organising parade, whenever the Armada came, the beacons are coming, get ready lads, we're going to have to beat these Spanish. According to legend, Francis Drake was first told of the sighting of the Armada while playing bowls in Plymouth Hoe. He is said to have answered, "There's plenty of time to finish this game and beat the Spaniards," but there's no reliable evidence of this. but we do have a picture of them playing bowls. The English ships were longer, lower, and faster than their Spanish rivals. Their decks fore and aft had been lowered to give greater stability, and this meant more guns could be carried to fire lethal broadsides. The ships were also more maneuverable than the Spanish vessels. The commander of the Armada was the Duke of Murder and Sardinia. The Duke had set out on the enterprise with some reluctance. He was wary of the abilities of the English ships. However, he hoped he would be able to join forces of the Duke of Parma in the Netherlands and find safe, deep anchorage for his fleet before the invasion of England. To his dismay, this did not happen. The Spaniards maintained a strict crescent formation up the channel, which the English realised would be very difficult to break. Despite this, two great Spanish ships were accidentally put out of action during initial battles. The Rosario collided with another ship, was disabled and captured by Drake, while the San Salvador blew up with tremendous loss of life. The two fleets skirted around each other up the channel with neither gaining advantage. On the 27th of July, after the Armada had anchored off Calais, the English decided to send 8 fire ships. These were vessels packed with flammable material, deliberately set alight and left to drift towards the enemy ships. At midnight, the fire ships approaching the Spanish Armada. The Spanish cut their anchor cables ready for fight, but in the darkness, many ships collided with each other. While none of the Spanish ships were set on fire, the Armada was left scattered and disorganized. Next morning, there was the fiercest fighting of the whole Armada campaign during the Battle of Galvines. By evening, the wind was strong, and the Spanish expected a further attack at dawn, but both sides were out of ammunition. None came. That afternoon, the wind changed, and the Spanish ships were blown off the sandbanks towards the North Sea, with no support from the Duke of Palma, and their anchorage lost. Medina Salmon's main aim was to bring the remains of the Armada back to Spain. So they couldn't moor up for the night. They had no anchors left because of the fire ships, and they had to bugger off back to Spain with their tails firmly between their legs where it needs to be. Many ships were wrecked off the rocky coast of Scotland and Ireland. Of 150 ships that set out, only 65 returned to Lisbon. The following year, Philip sent another smaller fleet of about 100 ships. This too ran into stormy weather off Cornwall and was blown back to Spain. It was not until the reign of James, ruler of Scotland and England, 1603, 1625, Scotland and England, because the Act of Union happened in 1601, joining the two countries. Notice Wales not mentioned. Bear that in mind. Wales is not mentioned in any Act of Union because it's not really a country. That piece was... So it was not until the reign of James I, ruler of Scotland and England, that peace was finally made between the two countries. And there we have it. That's the Spanish Armada. The rest is just a timeline thing. We don't really need to do that. So there you go. And right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up the chat. If anybody wants to come in for a chat, please feel free to do so, unless of course your name is Exiled Viking. There's that in the chat. Anybody wants to come in, and I shall have a look about the comments, see what we need to talk about. Small Party England. Yes, pretty much the same as Cornwall. Good evening, sir, Mr. Packer. How's yourself?
Good evening. Hang on. Just got to mute YouTube. That's it. Now we're done. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. How's yourself?
I'm all good. Quite drunk. 4 pints of gin in.
Mm.
4.5.
Mm.
But I promise to behave.
Yep. Oh no, you'll be fine. You always are. Yeah. Fuck. Yeah. As long as you don't run off and start talking about people's fucking personal details, we're fine. I'm sorry.
No.
Right. I'm
No.
not.
You asked me
Right.
the other week if I was on Telegram, and you know me on Facecloth. So if
Yes.
you need to message me, you can just message me on Facecloth.
Right. Yes. Do us a favor.
Yeah.
Send me a message on Facecloth because I'm a bit confused with that. And
All right, I will do. Yeah, I'll
right,
tell you
yeah,
it's
so,
me.
and,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh fuck. And which Facecloth are you on? Are you on the 42 Facecloth?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Right.
Yeah,
I can.
poems. Your excellent poems.
Yes. I have whenever, which brings me back to what I was talking about at the very start. Whenever I became the name 42 came about whenever I started writing the poetry on all poetry. And then whenever I went to make a Facecloth page for 42, Facecloth decided that 42 was not a human person's name.
No, it's the answer to
right. Yes. Right.
life,
So
universe, everything.
So they demanded that I make a human person's name Facebook profile, which is Frank Twaddle, because I thought Frank, honest, direct, Twaddle, I talk a lot of twaddle, right? That's how that came along. And from that, and that page was allowed to make a 42 page. Now, what I didn't know at the time, so whenever I was doing it, I put it as an author's page, where I should have put it as a community page. Because what I found out later was authors' pages do not have the same functionality as a normal page. It's a lot harder to navigate and shit and get it to do things. Although it seems to be a bit easier now because things might have changed. So while I had always intended 42 wanted to be my main page, it didn't turn out that way. And it's all it's a clusterfuck. This technology, mate, it's a fucking bollocks. But yes, send me a message on Facecloth and then
I will do.
I'll get that in.
And then we can be friends. Right. So,
Yep.
Someone's just asked why I was on Newsnight. I was on. Me and Steve Cray was on Newsnight.
Yes.
So, hang on. Somebody I wouldn't have known, but Resisting the Lies did put a stream on the other day. Put a thing on YouTube about BBC Newsnight hit piece on PA and some Welsh organisation about how we're a bunch of right-wing fucking racist Nazis.
Right.
And me and Steve went to a protest in Skegness about the hotels, and we were filmed whilst there. And there's a much better picture of Steve, but of course you don't know him because he don't come on stream, does he?
Yeah.
But we're both on there.
Right.
So that's how come I was just I watched it because I watch his stuff, so I put it on and watched it, and I thought, oh fuck, that's me. So yeah, I've been on BBC.
Right, England for the English. Right, so back in 2012, 11 years ago, the poetry thing, I decided to start 2 poems that came out. One about the Hillsborough disaster and one about my living with the witch, right? And I decided they're actually not bad, and I decided to put them. I wanted to put them on the internet, and the one thing that I knew for sure was I wasn't going to be having the profile in my given name. So I logged on, found the All Poetry site, and was starting to make my profile and went, right, what name am I going to have? My first thought was men are not really treated like people by the family court system, by the divorce system, by all of that. And therefore, I didn't need a human name. I more needed a number. And once I'd come to the conclusion that it was going to be a number, it was obviously going to be 42 because 42 is the ultimate answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything. The other thing that comes good is because whenever I've had meetings with the Justice Department, the Health Department, police, the policing board, quite a bit of government people, and what really puts them on the back foot is, so why you call 42? And I go, well, because whenever I escaped from domestic abuse, I wasn't provided a shelter, and such is the way that a woman would, that a cat would, that a dog would. We have domestic abuse shelters for one. We have shelters for cats and dogs. We have sanctuaries for donkeys. We have protected areas for birds, wildlife, plant and fauna. But there's no service for a male victim of domestic abuse. So I don't think I'm being treated like a person, and therefore I don't need a human number. I don't need a human name, which is why I went with a number. And that does sort of put them on the back foot from the start of the meeting. But I hadn't thought that through at the time. I was just looking for a name for the for this poetry profile, and that was sort of the thought process that took me to it. And for those that, yeah. Oh, and for those of you that want the quick answer about the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Rory, what the hell's going on in your place? It sounds like they're...
Good evening. Oh,
Rory,
I've just pouring a glass of wine.
Oh, right. Right. Were you decanting and all sorts of stuff?
I popped the top, yes.
Yeah, me and our disposable. The other thing, where was I? Yes. For those who want to know about the number 42 and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, number 42 is the ultimate answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything, which will never make any sense until you understand what the ultimate question to life, the universe, and everything is. Now, for reasons I'm not going to get into unless you want to actually read all 4 books in the trilogy, it turns
Which
out
are brilliant. I recommend them.
Yes, but you will know that the ultimate question is 6 times 7, and not 7 times 6, because 7 times 6 is wrong, just wrong. Yeah, but yes, read the book and find out where it's a little more complicated than that. Read the books. Honestly, they are very good. If you want a bit of escape from life and something that's witty, funny, and yeah, that's a good one. They're good books. Mr. Rory, how's yourself?
Okay, 42. I've had a difficult week. Well, not that a difficult week. I sent you an email with some photos. This is all to do with World War II veterans.
Right. One moment.
this was on Thursday. I went to the remembrance service of a 104-year-old World War II veteran. His name was Dennis Heritage. Good surname, I thought. He was born on the 17th of August, 1919, and he died on the 28th of August last month. And it was a really moving service, actually. He served in Burma, fighting the Japanese. And he was in the artillery. And they had, I've never heard of this before, artillery mules.
Yep.
Apparently, it was so mountainous in Burma. Excuse me. That they there's the man that they couldn't tow, traditional artillery. So they used to strip down the guns and put them on the backs of the mules. And these were rather larger mules than you'd imagine, but they're about twice as strong as a horse. And that's what they would use to move the guns around. And they would go, and bombard the Japanese lines. And this was, I'm sure you know about the Chindits, who were fighting behind enemy lines at that time. But yeah, so they would bombard the Japanese. And then the Chindits would stop that advance into Burma. But I always find it amazing. Sorry to carry on, but the stories that you learn from going to funerals, absolutely extraordinary.
Rory, who was it fought the Mau Maus?
Say again?
Who was it fought the Mau Maus?
I don't know.
Oh, right. That's okay. I had relatives that were either Chindits or the people who fought the Mau Maus.
Oh, really?
I think right. I think it was an Irish regiment. I would need to check into that. Unfortunately, the person that I would need to ask is no longer with us, which doesn't help.
Well, this chap, I don't know whether you can put up the other photos.
Yeah.
I mean, 104 years old. I mean, you have to respect these men. And he was, he was. I sent you the cover of the invitation, but also there was one of him. There he is, victory sign, playing polo with his daughter, and at 104, and I met the daughter at the service, and she said, "Yep, he beat me at it. He was better." But look at that. I mean, how do you get better than that?
Yeah, it is. All right, yes, I've got the other one now.
And the other was from him and his dog. Yeah.
Yep.
Did you get a job in a nursing home, Rory? The stories are fucking incredible. The lives these people have lived that was so fucking hard, and the shit they went through.
Oh, Packer, I want to come on to that next, actually, because I want to talk about the 98-year-old veteran, Gwynigalt, Ali Gwynigalt. And I sent for you to. There was a march today in Pembrokeshire, but we'll come on to that in a minute.
Yeah.
There he is. There we are. That was the.
Yeah, that's the order of service.
That's the order of, the cover of the order of service. So may he rest in peace.
Yeah.
God bless him. But, I mean, I don't know whether you could, moving on from that one, 42, what Packer was saying, about the 98-year-old veteran. Did you get those photos as
Yep.
well?
Yes. Give me 1
Because,
second.
This is just, I mean, absolutely ridiculous. That a group of about 12 people, I think, including Alec Yerbury, and I think John Lawrence. Yeah, they marched 10 miles this morning. Well, not this morning, yesterday morning, because we've gone past the hour. But no, yeah, from in Wales.
Yep.
Pembroke to Tenby, I think. And guess who turned up?
Oh, it's
The
not a guess.
protest.
I've heard this.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I think stand up against something, racism,
Yep.
that's an
Yep.
SUTR, isn't it? Turned up to protest against people marching to raise money for a 98-year-old veteran who's homeless. I mean, you can't believe it. It's so out of order. I mean, you would have thought, if these guys are socialists or whatever,
Yep.
they'd be going, we should be donating to him. He
Yep.
fought the Nazis. We should be supporting him. But oh no, they're protesting against the so-called Nazis or whatever they call them. It doesn't really matter to me.
The fucking British
Yeah,
people.
how were they slagging him off, being as he fought against the Nazis? What was their issue with him?
Their issue is not. See, they'll say their issue isn't with him. They'll say their issue is with the people that are doing the march, and they're trying to use him to forward their Nazi viewpoint.
They're so tolerant.
Yeah.
I love their tolerance.
Yeah.
I mean, it just goes to show what a bunch of bloody excuse my language, for you bloody wimps they are.
Rory, you're a former Scotty. Please, you're a former.
Pissed me off. It's really pissed me off.
Yeah. I was not at all pleased whenever I heard about that. It's an absolute fucking, it's a disgrace. There needs to be something done about this.
Well, I suppose the good news is, from last I heard, they've raised.
This is where the online hate speech thing will not apply.
Well, exactly, exactly. Yeah.
Where it should apply. That man fucking put his life on the line, did as he was told, stood up and fucking took some.
Oh my gosh! Packer.
Oh, you can slag him off.
He was in his nowhere. He parachuted on D-Day. He parachuted behind the enemy lines and defended Pegasus Bridge, and that was a major achievement. There's no way you can slag him off. I mean, definite hero. I mean, as I've mentioned before, this father of my friend in Burma. Same sort of thing. But 42, just pop up the final photo. These are the guys who were supporting him. I think they're
right. Yeah. Hold on. I need to get back to this.
You're right, Ragnar.
Right.
And there's a couple of people we might recognise. And Alec Yerbury was there, and is it John Lawrence? I believe his name.
Sure. Yeah, from the Housing Party, National
That's
Housing
the one,
Party
yeah.
UK.
That's the one, yeah. So they were there, so they travelled for miles. And this was after the march,
I'll just
10
move
miles.
this about a bit. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's Big John there.
there's John and Alec, isn't it? There was a couple of two ex-paras, I believe.
Yeah.
Alec is ex-rifles. So you got a few veterans there, and I don't know. I should mention the names, but the T-shirts are excellent, aren't they? In the middle,
Yeah. I'm going. Veteran infected, age 90s. Who the fuck protests that? What part of their brain is broke?
Well, I think it's all broken.
There's things I can understand people protesting. I really can. But this is not one of them. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous.
In a free society, protest should be a fundamental right, but you can still be fucking wrong. and protesting that is just wrong. You're an idiot.
I do not have an issue with these people's right to protest. And
No.
I will defend their right to protest, but I have very fucking strong questions about what has went wrong in their life that they think this is something that needs protested. You end up if you have morals and principles, you end up apparently defending people that you're not really defending. Haven't mentioned anything about it tonight, but Russell Brand, Mason Greenwood, two people with accusations, no guilty verdict, that are having that it's being made very difficult for them to earn a living. Now, don't like either of them, but I do think that. But I defend due. I defend due process. Anybody that's got issues with them, it needs to be sorted out in the court of law. Hasn't been until then. They're innocent until proven guilty. And people get a bit wonder, say you're defending Russell Brand and Mason Greenwood. No, I'm not. I'm defending the due process. I'll defend their right to protest, but there's something fucking wrong with their head that they wish to protest. Packer, what happened to you, chum? Packer, do you need the link?
Seems to have dropped out.
Yeah. There's a link again, Packer, if you want to jump back in.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be back.
Yeah.
Going back to what you were saying, I mean, how on earth can you protest against that? I mean, maybe they saw the banner, patriotic alternative, or they saw something online. It's like, oh, we have to stand against this, without even thinking about what they were standing against. I mean, they are so idiotic, these people.
Whenever they turned up, did they not have a think about it?
Well, of course they should have done. I think one of the guys went up to them and said, how can you possibly be protesting against this? And they couldn't answer the question. We'll probably see. I mean, this only happened, well, say yesterday morning now. I mean, this morning, basically. I think we'll see more coming up, on the internet tomorrow about it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, back to Packer.
Yep.
Yeah, see, what did you get? I was just saying about the Russell Brand thing. I got a horrible feeling that they're right, and it's not the hill we all want to die on. However, that's not how this country works. That's not how freedom works. The bloke's he's not under arrest. There's been no investigation. There's no trial. What the fuck's going on?
Oh,
It's mental.
I will quite happily, and I will enjoy trampling all over him as soon as he is convicted.
Yeah, I mean, if he's guilty, fuck him.
Yeah,
But that isn't the way freedom works, is it?
no, it's not the way a judicial system works. Oh, by the way, do you know Bill Cosby's guilty verdict's been overturned and he's been out of jail for quite a while?
So he didn't drug him.
No. Oh, fuck.
Oh.
Right. Oh,
Oh.
right. The Bill Cosby one, right? Really hear that. This is great, right? So, what happened was two women decided they would like some money. And many, many years ago, they had taken drugs and had sex with Bill Cosby. So they took a civil case, right? Bill Cosby is then faced with a choice. He was like, yeah, no, I'm going to fight this. I'm going to get all the evidence out. And they were like, but why are you fighting? It's only like 100 grand we're looking. Right? But it's not a big amount of money, and it's going to take fucking years to do. And Bill says, but if you win this civil case, you'll be able to use that as evidence in a court of law. Take me to a court of law where we'll have better rules of evidence and all that sort of stuff, and we'll have it out. And then there was a deal done between the two women's lawyers and the state prosecutor. State prosecutor says, right, do this civil case. Do not plead guilty, give them money, make everything go away. I am not going to prosecute you. Right? And that was the deal done in writing. So Bill Cosby says, have 100 grand each. I'm getting back to my life. Fuck off. Right. Then a different person runs for the job of prosecutor and his campaign was, I will prosecute Bill Cosby. He gets a job.
Paid him to go away.
Right, yes. He gets a job. He prosecutes Bill Cosby. The thing comes into court. Bill Cosby gets found guilty. But the evidence was, this is going to shock you. Whenever Bill Cosby was a young man and was in the films and doing everything, he was quite popular. And there was quite a few attractive ladies that would go to parties that celebrities were at. I know you're shocked, aren't you? I can see it in your face. And, yeah, and they would have sex and they would take drugs.
Yeah.
Sometimes they would even get the address or the phone number of the people that they're doing it with. So they then went to Bill Cosby's house for sex and drugs. And Bill Cosby provided sex and drugs. No Mickey was slipped. They asked for drugs. They knew they were taking drugs. They knew they were having sex. And that's what he was convicted on. And then it went up to the Court of Appeal, and it got overturned, and he was let back out of jail.
Yeah, I cannot fathom it. Because I've had sex whilst under the influence of drugs with girls who were under the influence of drugs. And, they did the same to Trump, didn't they? Some woman who reckoned he'd molested her in the fucking changing room 20, 30 years ago. And it's he said, she said, and it's who the jury believes.
This gets
it's mental.
Rory, there's a link again if you want back in. Trump's one's even better. The jury in Trump. Yes, the jury in Trump's case found that he had not assaulted the woman. right? He was convicted for slander for saying that he did not assault her.
Yeah, I think I'm paraphrasing, but
Yeah,
he said something along the lines of, "I wouldn't fucking touch that."
Yes, that's what he got convicted on.
Yeah.
Now the jury found that he hadn't done it, but it was in DC. It was a very liberal jury, and they convicted him on the least thing that they could. It's it's fucking madness.
Yeah,
it is.
I mean, it's just I find it weird. I find it odd. I find it especially wrong that somehow our government has got involved in writing to YouTube and TikTok and Rumble and saying demonetized brand when he hasn't even been arrested for anything.
Right.
That's just fucking mental. I mean, if he done it, he done it. Fine, string him up. But I've not got a problem with that. But that isn't the case.
But in order to understand why there's people in Parliament doing that, you need to understand the premise of the Violence Against Women and Girls Act.
Oh no, trust me, I've been on the wrong side of fucking.
Right.
I've been in family court. 42. You know this. I mean, I know how the system works.
But the actual
this is beyond the pale. It's ridiculous. It makes a mockery of innocent till proven guilty. You know, the pendulum has swung. The Overton window has fucking hit the fucking wall at one side. It's mental.
I totally agree with you. It is completely out of order that a member of the House of Commons could write a letter to like that.
I can't believe they've got the fucking front to do it.
Well, they're meant to act in the interests of their electorate. They don't have the power, in my opinion, unless we have this new act coming in, don't we? That says,
they don't have the power.
But what you have to realize is
they want the power.
Yeah.
What you have to realize is the current Violence Against Women and Girls Act is a rehabilitation program that is rolled out to all men, regardless of whether or not they've offended. So therefore, they now have a bit where a man has possibly done something, and they're like, right, go take his money away. The thing that was really interesting to me was in the letter sent out from the committee in the House of Parliament. They were more interested in making sure that he couldn't make money than they were interested in getting them off the platform. It's about punishment. It's not about right or wrong or anything. We have an opportunity to punish him, so punish him.
Yeah, but 42, with respect, they are not the lawmakers. Sorry, they're the lawmakers. They are not the courts.
Oh, yeah.
They do not have the power to judge people.
Rory, I was not saying that they're right in what they're doing. I was explaining why they're doing it.
Okay. Well, anyway, there we go.
Hold on. Anglo-Saxons got one here. They've succeeded in destroying our communities. Now they're coming for our online communities. Yes, they are. They do not want people getting together and having conversations in any way, shape, or form. They do not like it. They're worried.
Very good point, Anglo-Saxon.
They are worried us rat bastard white men will get together and do something good. They can't sleep in their bed at night for worrying about that. That we might do something good, or we might get together and we might stop listening to the drivel was saying that us through the mainstream media.
Yeah, we might just carry on getting married and having families and bringing our children up correctly. That's what they're most scared of.
Oh, fuck,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
hate that.
Bringing our children up with proper sensibilities and a fucking idea of what is right and what is wrong. That fucks them.
Yeah. What they've been at for they have spent the last 100 years trying to destroy the nuclear family, trying to because if you can destroy families at that basic unit, you remove all cohesion within the working class community and middle and upper
Which I
class.
find funny because I spent 20, 30 years trying to get it right. Finally managed it.
Yeah, right. So they've been at war with that. It's why they want the women in the workplace. There's a slight side order of the fact that they can then tax 2 people instead of 1. But the main aim of getting women in the workplace was to get mothers away from their children, get their children in the schools, have the schools indoctrinate them, and to as much as possible remove fathers, because whenever a child does not have a father, they become more likely to become involved in gangs. They become more likely to become involved in crime. They are more likely to go to prison. They are more likely to do heavy drugs or do drugs to a point which debilitates their life, and they are less likely to get educated.
I'm very lucky. I live in a very rural area, and as you know, because if you've seen those of you that see me on here or see me on Danger's streams, my boy will sit in the living room and be a part of what I'm talking about and what I'm doing. And I've questioned him on it, and I've been to the school and I've checked fucking rainbow flags and the like, and I have seen no signs of it whatsoever. My wife works at the school, and it's all pretty based. So he goes to secondary school next year, and I will still keep an eye out. However, when I've questioned him on gender issues, he just looks at me like fucking gone out, and he's like, "What?" Which is the kind of response I really enjoy.
Well, you know what, 42. I mean, you mentioned going back 100 years. I mean, yes, in the 1920s, we had families with breeding many children. We had no problem with immigration. In fact, people were still looking for work back then. And then suddenly it all changed. It's like, oh yeah, the women have to work. I mean, a lot of that happened after World War One, but they were working there, and especially in World War Two. But yeah, after that, it was no, the economy. You have to both work, and you can't have children anymore, or can't afford children anymore, I should say. And that's when I think everything went wrong. And then
nations are built on communities that are built on families.
Yeah, absolutely. And then of course,
so destroy the family.
Yeah. And then after World War II, it's like
you destroy the community, you destroy the nation.
Rush. Yeah, absolutely, Packer. Well said, sir.
I think you've got that. I think you're right. I don't believe Russell Brand is right wing at all. I believe what's happened is around about 3 years ago, he knew this was coming down the pipe. He had a look at the people who currently supported him, knew they were going to turn on him, and slowly moved his positions further to the right. So he would come the space where he was amongst people who will say things like, what about a court case? What about law and order? What about due process? And he wanted to be at that point in that place before this dropped.
Right. So if he is guilty,
if he's guilty, he's
I don't know. it's a hell of a risk for him to take to fucking leave the fold.
Well, yeah, but
And
the
I mean,
thing,
you know, the bloke's he's rich enough, is he not? Do we not all agree that he's probably fucking sat on a mountain of money and he could live happily the rest of his life and just shut the fuck up and go away? But he didn't take that option. He chose to keep talking and change his mind and swing. Which just a point I find curious, that he's gone the way he has, rather than just shut up and fuck off, which he could have done.
I don't think it's in. I don't think he has the ability to shut up and fuck off. I
Good point.
right.
Even risking well, do you know what I mean? It's like if he is guilty of what they say, any sensible person would just, instead of, I mean, he's kind of always raged against the machine back in the day when he was saying just don't vote, which I kind of understand, because, like, you know, the situation we're in at the minute, like, if I want the borders shut, who do I vote for? So I get his point of view, but he just swung totally right and started fucking shouting at the very people that apparently can stitch him up like a kipper, which seems mental.
But Packer. I mean, I from what I've heard about his, past actions, I don't think he's done anything actually illegal.
No, it's Russell Brand. I'm pretty sure there was a fucking queue a mile long of women queuing up to suck his cock.
Yes, yeah.
See,
I mean, he had this 16-year-old girlfriend, when he was 30, in his 30s, who he called a child. Apparently,
I'm sure you could level exactly the same accusations at fucking the Rolling Stones or the Beatles.
And I also, I've heard that, he used to send people out in his concerts and everything, and get the women he fancied to come back to his hotel room. I mean, he's not a good person, but it's not exactly illegal.
No, it used to be called groupies.
Right. Well, I believe this is connected to the Johnny Depp thing. The Me Too movement knew it was fucked whenever Amber Heard took on Johnny Depp. And they did. Right.
You're pronouncing turd wrong.
Right. Yes. Oh, right. They knew they were fucked, and they brought the whole Me Too thing in the court and had it fucking annihilated. And at that point, they started looking for somebody that they thought was going to be a shoe-in victim. And you'll notice that's whenever brands started to go right. Because bear in mind, the Amber Heard thing was going for about 4 years before the actual court case that Johnny Depp won.
Yeah.
And there came a point where they knew, we're fucked. We can't do this anymore. Nobody's believing us. And we need a new high-profile victim. And Brandt was selected. Brandt knew that he'd been selected. He started moving right because he wanted to change his audience. And I don't know. From the other thing I will say is, having seen the accusations that are against him, if that's the best they've got, he's walking. There could be.
I would like to agree, and from an actual evidence point of view, I would agree with you, because she said, he said from fucking 20 years ago,
yeah,
is not going to stand up. However, having seen what happened to Trump, they will still spin it like he's guilty, even if it ever gets to court, which I don't know. But even if it does, the chances of a jury just believing her over him because she said, the odds are quite high.
Well,
Do you know what I mean?
there's a-
I disagree. And again, I will state, having said that, I'm not saying I don't think he was a sex pest. I'm fairly sure he was, probably.
Yeah,
But
but was it
I
consensual?
Yeah,
I highly doubt
yeah.
that the women queuing up to. Do you know what I mean? If I was Russell
Yeah.
Brand and I had that many women queuing up to fuck me, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't fuck up and fuck someone that didn't want fucking.
Yeah,
Well, exactly.
You know, you'd have to
Patrick,
try quite hard,
Patrick.
wouldn't you?
No, I think you're absolutely right. Excellent comment from the Woodlander in the chat there. He started punching up. They don't
Yeah.
like
Oh,
that.
yeah. No, that's the reason. Yeah. That's the reason it's come out now and not fucking 10, 20 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
it's took. Bear in mind, it's took him 3 years to get it to where it is, and 3 years ago he was not punching up.
No.
The
Well, right. Okay. Hang on. I'm going to throw a spanner in the works here and you can all argue with me in the chat. That's fine. But he has always been anti-establishment. And you go back 10 years or whatever it was, he was against even voting for anyone. Right?
oh, but
Now, I admit, I agree. He was a fucking right.
hold on,
He was a
hold
proper
on.
left.
The second part of his not voting for everybody was the proletariat rise up and overthrew the government.
Oh no, he was an absolute fucking lefty. Okay, so but what I'm saying is he was always anti-establishment, but he was anti-establishment in a way that they liked. Whereas now he isn't.
Yeah, it's hard to know. It's hard to know all the ins and outs of it, but it's my gripe a lot. And the same with the Mason Greenwood case, because
I don't know
like,
the Mason Greenwood case.
right, used to play for Man United.
Oh yeah, I know that lad. Yeah.
Right, yeah,
No, he's
right.
been fucking trialed by
Yeah, well,
YouTube.
the Crown Prosecution Service dropped that case.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
They
so
dropped it.
I do know that case. Yeah, I did read into it. Yeah.
Right.
And it's like,
Yes.
what the fuck?
The reason why they dropped it was whenever they done their investigation, they found evidence that contradicts what was put on social media. They found the rest of the phone recording because they had to get that.
Okay, just so I get this straight, he is a lad of, can we say, London?
Yeah, he's
origin?
black. He's black.
yeah. Okay, yeah. No, I do know the case. Yes, and I did look into that for a couple of hours one afternoon. Went down that rabbit hole, and it was like,
his bird put pictures on social media of a lot of bruises and a voice recording that was taken on a phone. Now, what then happened was the police got called in. They got the whole voice recording. They obviously got the medical reports, and they obviously got the pictures taken by the police.
Yeah, I've got an ex who called the police when she had bruises that she'd gagged herself. I got arrested.
Right. Okay. So the police got all the information. The Crown Prosecution got all the information and went, yeah, we can't be taking this to court. And they dropped it.
Right.
Right. Now,
but it was Man U when they sold him.
Yeah. Man U sold them to Gaffant or something.
Yeah, it was basically, fuck off.
Yeah.
Wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his biggest problem is if he had went to court and had that cleared, he'd probably been in a better position. But he hasn't had a day in court yet. So therefore, by default, he's innocent. And I've no real interest in defending him. I've no real interest in defending Brand. I do have a blog post that's going to be coming out tomorrow saying that I'm not defending them, but I'm defending due process. And what's going on here is fucking wrong.
Yeah, what I want to defend is
due process.
Innocent until proven guilty.
Yep.
That should be the That's the baseline. That's where we should all start, is it not? Otherwise, it gets
Yep.
fucking weird real quick.
Yep.
Well, yes, Packer. That is, I agree with you. That is where we should all start. But unfortunately, in today's
StreamYard is being mad tonight.
Okay, Woodland, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, it's a technicality, but yeah, no, I he was a screaming lefty. I'm with you on that.
Rory's back.
yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. StreamYard for some reason keeps throwing me out. Yeah, I was saying to Packer. Yes, of course it should be innocent or proven guilty, but that's not how the way our courts work anymore. And the judge,
Yeah, but the law hasn't. The fundamentals of the law hasn't changed, has it? It's just
Well, no,
the way
no.
it's interpreted.
no,
the way they're applied has, but
the way that judges decide cases, they do. I mean, they've become extremely liberal, and they will give bigger sentences to people they think are on the right than on the left.
Oh
This
yeah,
happens all the time.
yeah. No, I've seen them cases.
yeah, we before anything changes in this country, we need to change the judiciary, not the actual laws, but the people that are administering it, because we have got fucking raging leftists that are in these positions, making these decisions.
No, judges are.
Yeah, our judges, yeah.
Judges are.
They're right. Yeah, it's the slow march through whatever it is. The schools,
The
universities,
institutions.
the judiciary.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all gone left. I
It's
get
a slow march, yeah, and it'll be a very slow march to change all that. But we need to do it.
Yeah, but hopefully it will be a march.
Oh
Yeah.
no. See, here's the thing. What we need is a prime minister that likes British people, and on his first day, he starts calling the judiciary.
I think we're away from
Oh yeah,
any prime minister that likes British people. We've got 3 main parties, 4 if you count the Greens, and none of them like British people.
yes, this is a problem.
As far as I can tell, most of them don't even know what a woman is. Oh, hang on, sorry, all of them don't even know what a woman is.
That's absolutely right.
So,
yes, they cannot define a woman.
where are you going to
think-
start?
Didn't Keir Starmer come out and say define a woman? I think.
Oh, that was hilarious. Did you see him get stitched up on some radio
Yeah.
channel he was on? And somebody rung in about borders.
No,
And he was chuntering on about borders, and then they pointed out that his missus was Jewish, and
Yes, Packer, I did. That's
how they seem to very much impose their borders.
Yes.
And he was left umming and ahhing.
no.
So I mean, we're several steps away from
Well, when
somebody being
anyone,
elected that stands up for the indigenous people of
Yeah,
our
well,
island.
absolutely. When anybody challenges them, on those types of questions, they just don't know what to say. It's like, oh, Tom Harwood, wasn't it?
never.
The Reverend Costello. That was the funniest video I've ever seen. Do you remember that one, 42?
No,
Reverend James Costello challenged
No.
Tom Harwood. Oh, you have to watch that one. Did you see that, Packer?
What was that?
when the Reverend James Costello in Leeds, he challenged Tom Harwood about the indigenous people. I'll have to find this one for you.
I
Did
love
you
the
not see that
indigenous
one?
people argument. It's hilarious
All right.
because allegedly we're not indigenous people, but Maoris and Hawaiians are indigenous people who have been on their islands 1,000 years less than we have.
Absolutely.
Make sense. Like
Here,
they've been on
I'll
Hawaii for
try and
800
find.
years.
Okay.
But they're indigenous, but we're not. We're a bunch of mongrels.
Right.
Okay.
see on the point of protecting our borders.
Oh, and the blacks built Stonehenge, apparently.
Yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah, that is funny.
I'm still looking into who we can complain to about that.
What about the blacks building Stonehenge?
No,
I'm not sure.
oh,
You'll have to
right.
go back to the planning application.
no, no. What we need to go after is the people who funded that book, because they are funding a falsehood.
Yeah, it's mental though, because you know
Yeah.
you're not going to get anywhere because the
Oh,
powers that be
well,
will not
well,
pay any attention.
Well, no, what we need to do is we need to look into the rules and the laws around it and have them properly enforced. It's amazing. It's amazing how things change whenever you can actually use the system against itself.
Yeah, but the laws are still there, but they're not applied.
Right.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
like
because
you put on Facecloth a week or two ago about how female genital mutilation is illegal
Yep.
unless you
Yep.
give her a penis, in which
Yes.
case it's fine. So which is it? Do you know what I mean? That doesn't make sense, does it? Make that
Yeah.
make sense. Make you know, and it goes back to the laws against the laws of how you can slaughter an animal. You know,
and
there is one way in this country you can slaughter an animal. Any other way is illegal. However, possibly now most animals are slaughtered illegally to appease a certain group. It's illegal, but the law is not applied. It's just ignored. So they will just ignore the law to make certain groups happy. Make that make
Yeah.
sense.
Oh,
Rather than change the law, have a vote or something, they will just ignore it.
there's what we're saying about the borders, about defending our borders and stuff. Could we not just even get them to the right place? Because currently, the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland has a border in the Irish Sea.
It's mental.
Yeah, it is. The border of Great Britain and Northern Ireland
But
is in
look
the
how
Irish.
scared they are of the other option. Because the other option, the proper option, the way it should have been done, because that's what we voted for, they're too scared.
Well, what are they frightened of? Because apparently we've got a peace process, and if we've got a peace process, then everything will be fine. So you're going,
Right, I'm laughing. I'm not even living it.
Yeah.
You are.
right, yeah. But if we've got a peace process,
Yeah.
then there's nothing to be afraid of, because everything's going to be done democratically. So they have nothing to be worried about. So they can do one of two things.
Unless
They
you
can
know
admit,
that peace process is basically bullshit.
oh
I don't live there, 42. You do. You
yeah,
tell me.
oh that peace process, the peace process the Good Friday referendum would have been illegal in pretty much any other democracy. The way it was run and organized, it would have been deemed illegal. Do you know the way we have laws about how about each side of the argument having equal airtime prior to an election or a referendum? That referendum came in the back of 5 years of 24/7 pro peace deal propaganda. 48 hours before before we went to the vote, Tony Blair went on television and gave 5 handwritten guarantees, none of which went into the actual agreement that the people were voting on. That is not a legally held election. That's not how you hold a legal fair election. So you've got that. You've also got the fact that it came out that part of the peace deal was to give pardons to the Irish Republican terrorists, and the people of Northern Ireland were not told that that was part of the deal.
I'll be back in a sec.
Right. So the idea that we have a peace deal that's legal and proper and correct is bullshit. But that's what they're telling us. They're telling us we've got a peace deal and everything's going to be done democratically. So you either need to be not worried about the consequences of putting the border where it's supposed to be, because there's not going to be violence, or admit that the peace deal doesn't work, throw the whole fucking thing out and start from scratch. One of those two, take your pick. But at the minute we're trying to do one minute suits, 1 minute doesn't. It's fucking madness. And the reason why the executive is down and has been down for a year and a half is because the unionists have went, yeah, no, we can't be part of this. So the thing's fucked. But
when do you think this will all be sorted, 42?
After the war.
All right. Good answer, sir.
Right. It's going to take a war to sort this shit out.
You really think so?
I do, because you've now came to a point where the unionists have said we are not going to go along with this border being moved to the Irish Sea. We're just not having it. And you have the Irish nationalists that are saying we're not having it anywhere else. And one of those two sides need to capitulate, and neither of them are going to.
So the last side saying that the border needs to be in the Irish Sea, they're basically EU. They want it all EU.
Yes. The EU is currently fighting a two-front. That will put them into a two-front war with Russia. So we'll take them odds. The EU can go and fuck themselves. I would love to know who's going to come in to man these EU control ports in Belfast and Lauren, because that's a high risk job. And the other thing I would say is it's actually really, really simple, because you've got a port in Belfast, you've got a port in Lauren, you've got a port in Dundalk, I think it is, Dunleary. And if you want to send goods from mainland UK to the EU, put it on a boat that goes to fucking Dunleary. If you want to send them to Great Britain, Northern Ireland, send them on a boat that goes to Belfast or Lauren. And I think that would solve the problem. You know, I mean, or is that too sensible? Send the goods directly to the country that they're going to.
Well, that makes sense to me, but it's not how the world works anymore, is it? Really?
Yeah. Well, the reason why it's not working the sensible way is because they're trying to do something.
There's too much
Cool.
money to be made to be sending them to fucking Ireland and then through to Northern Ireland where there's no fucking border.
No, well, what they're worried about is stuff going to Northern Ireland, making its way into the Republic, and people not paying tax or paying their own tax.
Yeah,
That-
there's between the EU and not the EU, there's a fucking open border.
Right, yes, but see across that border every day, there comes fuel, there comes tobacco, there comes alcohol, there comes people.
There's a whole black market there,
Yeah.
which is fine
Right,
to a
yes,
certain extent.
yeah, well, so I don't know, so they're why are they going to make it more strict for goods where people are filling in paperwork than all the stuff that's not? You know, it doesn't make any sense. Yes, Edmund, there is all sorts of smuggling goes across that border every day.
Yeah, they're smuggling across every fucking border every day.
Yeah,
But that one looks to be the most profitable and easiest route.
it's probably
Does it not? Because of the fucking chaos that Brexit has caused, and that you can't fucking put a hard border in there because if you do, shit will kick off.
No. Well, there's nowhere has hard borders. But a hard border.
We're talking Northern Southern Ireland, and
Yeah.
one of the greases that one of the cogs that is greased to make that work is the open border between Northern and Southern Ireland, just like it is in Gibraltar or anywhere else where
Yeah.
that kind of border comes into fucking.
Yes, and see, whenever you're going from Gibraltar into Spain, you walk through a hut and you declare your alcohol and tobacco or you don't, and they do a spot check. Can we do that? Can we do
you
that?
kind of could. You
Yeah,
kind of could, but you're two spot checks away from it fucking properly kicking off, aren't you? I understand what you're saying.
Okay,
I agree with you.
See the people that are going to kick off. They're not going through that office. They're going round the back roads.
They're going across the field. Is that what you're saying?
Going across the field. They're not. Yeah. They're not presenting. They're not walking through that office.
But
office.
What no one wants is like a queue of fucking 40 articulated lorries sitting in a field somewhere with people with their phones filming them, and the border force going, "Why are they in that field?"
Well,
Packer, remind me. I've forgotten the phrase, but what on earth was it called when you'd hop on the ferry to France and buy your duty free and
booze cruise?
Booze cruise.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, I did.
I mean, that goes on across every single border. The issue is that there's way too much profit to be made in and out of Brexit through the northern Irish border. And
I remember
try very hard to make it look like it's not happening.
All right. I remember doing many booze cruises to the Channel Islands from Dorset, and it was like 20 quid, I think, for a return ticket, and you could stock up with about 100 quid worth of booze, and you know you get it for like half price, and then suddenly that was banned by the British government, I believe. Not the EU.
Oh fuck! See, whenever I was going to Australia, right? You hear this? And I arrives at Belfast Heathrow. I'm at Heathrow, going to be going to Australia. I says, right, where to go for duty free? It says, get your duty free in Dubai, because that's where the stopover was. Right there on. 1 second, I need to cough. Plane lands in Dubai, picks up all my shit, off the plane, into the airport, round to the duty free shop, bought myself a bottle of Southern Comfort, got them to bag that because of an onward flight when I arrived in Australia. Where's the cigarettes? I went over there, went over to the place where they sold the cigarettes. Says, right, going to Australia, how many cigarettes am I allowed to bring in? And they said 10. I says, what, 10 boxes? They said, no, 10 cigarettes. That's that's how.
Rory driving behind you, looking a bit sheepish.
Yeah, and I was like, what? And it says, no, duty-free cigarettes into Australia, you're allowed 10 cigarettes. It's almost like they don't want you smoking in their country. Fuck, you think here's a book of rules? You want to see Australia? It is mad. Australia has gone fucking nuts. They the
I watched that Avi Yemeni. Does anyone watch him?
Yeah, I've seen some of his. Haven't watched them in quite a few years.
Yeah, but yeah, Australia's gone fucking proper mental, proper just fucking shitbag Nazi on
It
people.
works out about £6 a pint for beer.
Probably about the same price as
£6 a pint in Australia.
less.
Oh, here, hold on. It was £6 a
less than it is in
It
London.
was £6 a pint in I think it was 2018. I was there.
Okay.
Right, so it'll have gone up by now because everywhere's going up everywhere. I swear to fuck. See if you're in a pub, see if you're in a nightclub, and you spill a pint of beer. That's you out.
Spill a pint of beer.
Spill a pint of beer. If you wave your hand and knock over a pint of beer, you know where it's normally, oh fuck, sorry, and go get another pint. No, two bouncers arrive and tell you need to leave because you're being disruptive.
Sorry, is that in Belfast?
No, that's in Australia.
Okay.
Tell you
It's
something
not
else.
okay, Rory. Like, you know,
Right.
No, I don't mean it's okay.
all the people we sent to Australia were exactly the kind of people that would fucking knock your beer over.
Right, yeah, right.
I mean, that's their bread from that.
Come,
I know, but they do kill crocodiles.
Right.
In Australia.
come 12 o'clock at night, and the bar's open to 2, right? And you go to the smoking area. It's been open all night, and it's closed, right? So you go out the front door for a smoke. You're not getting back in.
Well, the only time I've ever been thrown out of a pub was when I fell off my bar stool, totally drunk.
Yeah, I can understand them putting out totally drunk people. Right? I do have a slight issue that what got them totally drunk was the stuff that they sold them, but there you go. But I can't understand that they want visibly drunk people in their establishment. But Australia has turned into a fucking book of rules. It's mad.
But who wants to drink Australian beer anyway?
Well,
I'd be tempted to knock over the pints.
My mum and dad used to bath me in cheap Australian lager. It wasn't until I got older that I realised I'd been fostered.
Good one, Packer.
Oh fuck! Right, lads.
I know it's getting late.
Right, it's coming to 1:20.
It's getting very late.
Yeah, I'm supposed to go to work tomorrow. Oh, fuck.
Are you? What time?
Yeah. Well, this is where it gets good because originally I got a text message saying, "Can you come in on Sunday?" And I was like, "Right, okay, but I'll not be in until about 9." And right, no, that's fine, that's dead on. And then I got a message, it's either yesterday or today, saying that the plant that does the process before 9 isn't going to be up and running until about 9, which means the work's not going to arrive at my place until about 11. So I said, yeah, I'll see you sometime before lunchtime.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but the stuff that I
10 to
use,
12 then.
yeah, I'm gonna be in somewhere about 12 o'clock. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, anytime after 11:30.
Yeah, the equipment that I use, right, I'm being. This is sounding all weird because I'm trying to not explain exactly where I work, but the stuff that I use to do my job has
You
been
work for an aerospace.
Yeah,
place,
yeah,
don't you?
right. Yeah, I work. Right, I spray bits for airplanes. Right, there we go. Everybody can figure it out now. Right.
Oh,
The
you've said
paint-
before.
Yeah, the paint that I use had been out of stock, and it just came in on Friday. So they want me to spray some stuff. They want to run it down the process before me, and then have me spray it on Sunday, so as other people can work out on it Monday morning. So
Well, there's an admission. 42. He sprays Elon Musk's starships.
yes,
Don't start saying shit like that, Rory. You get yourself banned.
Oh,
You'll never be on again.
there.
All right, I retract that statement.
Well, was it Sansom Stream earlier? He was saying about not having the right scientists and stuff to work on avionics and stuff. He was saying he was worried about, people
See?
designing aircraft and working on avionics, and he doesn't want people that aren't fully qualified. Well, by fuck, what he really doesn't want to do is come have a walk around an aircraft factory.
Don't, because you've done this before and you just scare everybody.
Right, yeah.
No, 42.
That's all you do.
42, you have to send your CV to Elon Musk.
Right.
I'm sure he will employ you.
Right. Do you know when the last time was somebody buying an aircraft paid full price for it?
Nope.
1947?
Never.
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 That was close.
Right. So what happens is you start building an aircraft and you do something that's it's okay, but it's not the way it's supposed to be, really. Right?
It's all right,
So
but it's
what-
got square windows. It might crack.
Right. Yeah. Right. You've done something that's minor. It's nothing major, right? But it's just not right. So they do a thing called report non-conformance, and they do the paperwork up, and they go, right, this bit of your aircraft, it'll do, but it's not the way it's supposed to be. And then they get a bit of money knocked off for that. Right. And then as it goes through the process, there's more bits that are just not quite right, but they'll do. So yeah, the reason why aircraft list price is as high as what it is, they've built into the system that the people are paying about a third less for all
Well,
the bits
it
that
took them. Yeah, I mean, excuse me. It took them a while, 42, but Concorde was built not far from me in Bristol, and that turned out okay.
Yes, it did.
Eventually, yeah.
Until it didn't.
Well, that was because of the French cheese-eating surrender monkeys.
No, that was it. that was
They
actually
are, yeah.
right. That was actually because some fucker couldn't push a runway properly.
Exactly. Yeah, and glad you know the history. 42.
Yes, what happened was there was a couple of things. they were sending the aircraft on a flight that was longer than it should have went, and in order to facilitate that, they took out the internal buffles in the wings, and so you've got. Long story short, your wing, it's hollow. It's where all your fuel lives, right? And they put buffer dividers in. Now, because what those buffers dividers do is they stop all of the fuel swooshing right down to the end and going across, right? And the buffers stop that, but they take up some capacity. And in order to get enough fuel in it to go the full length of the distance they wanted to go, they took out all the buffers. Right? And so you had that going on. The second thing was the dickhead that was supposed to sweep the runway because of the speed Concorde took off at it, had to have a fully clean runway. He didn't do it right, and there was a screw left on the runway. Concorde's revving up, getting its speed, hits the screw punctures the tire. The tire fucking blows out, tips it a bit to the side. Because there's no buffers, the weight of the fuel in the wing takes it all in the wing, and then everybody dies.
So it was down to one dickhead and a road sweeper.
Well, that
sounds like it to me. But
Hands up, who's been stuck behind that one dickhead and road sweeper on the way to work in the morning?
Well, absolutely, hands up, sir. Salute.
yeah.
But,
You know-
42 is you're very knowledgeable about this. I'm interested to hear that.
Yeah, I was pretty pissed off that we stopped having a supersonic aircraft. So I read in the crash report. And then also, because whenever I done my health and safety training, I'm a union health and safety representative. So they taught me how to look into previous crashes and workplace incidents and whatnot, and where you go to find the information about stuff, and get that in such a way that you're getting it from the official source and not what the newspaper has bastardized it into in the intermediary. Because we have a lot of stories that are everybody knows, but they're just simply not true.
Right, there's a difference between workplace incidents, which covers everyone, and that time Concorde crashed, which covers very few of us.
Yes, but they right, for toffee, furt. Right. Yes, but where the stuff gets reported and how it gets reported and where you go to get the genuine information, for those two things is the same. I'll give you another classic example. Do you know the thing about where they said the school had banned conkers from schools?
Yep.
Right. Okay. Didn't actually happen. What happened was two boys playing conkers in the playground. Teacher walked past and says, "By the way, lads, if you want, you can get safety glasses from the science block." Didn't say you must, just said, if you want, you could. They tell their parent tells the son. The son comes out with a thing saying, health and safety's gone nuts, school banning conkers. Right? Now, the reason why that's done is because they like to, 3/4 of stuff that you get told is being stopped because of health and safety isn't being stopped because of health and safety. It's being stopped because some fucking nerdy whale wants it stopped and they want an excuse, so they just go health and safety. Or
I used to play conkers at school, and we used to put them in vinegar that would harden them up, and then you put your
Yes.
string through them.
Bake them in
Yes,
the oven.
Right?
Oh no, hot press for a year.
Yeah. Oh, that's another. Yeah, that's another way. Oh,
You're always working on you're always working on last year's conkers.
Oh,
yeah.
simpler
And just
time.
to simpler times, actually, and just to answer Toffee, ferret is how I pronounce it. Ferret. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll
He's
say ferret.
unhappy. If he's unhappy Scouser, then so be it.
Go on, say 42. Go on, say ferret.
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 It's kind of like asking Americans to say mirror.
Yeah, because
Say ferret again. You know?
Ferret. We had this conversation before. I was saying the name of the animal, and you couldn't figure out what the fuck I was saying.
Ferret.
Oh, ferret.
They're hard to understand, these Scousers sometimes, or
Oh fuck.
they have trouble understanding proper English. Let's put it that way.
The majority of times whenever you're told you can't do something because of health and safety, it's normally down to an insurance company. So a company goes to get insured, and we're making these figures up, right? They say, I would like you to insure my company. And they say, fine, we'll insure your company for a year. That's going to cost you £1 million, sir. And the person goes, I don't really want to pay £1 million. And they says, right, well, do you want 50,000 knocked off it? Says, I want more than knocked off it, but 50,000 sounds like a good start. Says, right, okay. See everybody that walks into your premises, make sure they've got safety boots on, safety glasses on, and prove to us that you're monitoring and checking that. And they go, right, okay, we'll do that. And they get 50,000 knocked off their insurance. And they go, nah, could you interest you in another 100,000 knocked off? And he goes, yes, of course, I want another 100,000. Says, see all your step ladders? Get rid of them. A lot of accidents are caused by people falling off step ladders. If you don't have step ladders, you can't have those accidents. So dump all your step ladders. And all of a sudden, the step ladders are off the shop floor. And that's not from a good health and safety reason. That's from a insurance company reason. Whenever some church gets told, no, you can't have a car wash, you can't have a car wash to raise money for your church roof. And people go, yeah, we can't do that because of health and safety. No, it's not health and safety. It's the insurance company mostly, because what you, from a health and safety point of view, what you would have to do is put somebody on the front gate of your car park, create a one-way system, have everything going slow, make it safe. If it was a health and safety issue, would do that, but no, the insurance companies make it more difficult, and then the fucking car wash for the church roof doesn't happen. It's all scammy mixed scam. So there we go. Right. It's after 1:30. As I said, I do have work tomorrow afternoon. So I'm gonna need this. I'm gonna need this. Yeah. Oh fuck yeah. It's a bit of a weird one, but it's what needs done. It's kept them happy and it's kept me happy. And I'm gonna find my outro. And I'll get that fired up. Gentlemen, any last thoughts?
Yes, I would like to know where to find some of them pumpkin hats for my cats.
What?
On your intro.
Ah, that is a good intro.
Yeah, but the intro is brilliant. And I want some pumpkin hats for my cats.
Right. Well, you see, I can't help you with that because I looked on the internet for cat videos and I stole the cat videos, put them together, and then put the words to it. I didn't actually film any of that stuff. I quite like the ones where they're ringing the bells for the sweets. I think that's quite good.
That's my favorite 42. And the record player thing. That's quite
Yes.
Yeah, cats are the most intelligent dickheads on the planet.
So,
Cats
so it
have-
seems.
Cats can prove that the world is definitely not flat.
Oh, yeah, because otherwise they would have knocked everything off the edge by now.
Yes, exactly. If the world was flat, cats would have had everything knocked off the end by now.
Well, I can prove that the world is not flat because we were talking about Concorde. I did actually fly Concorde once, and I can tell you from 55,000 feet, you can see the ionosphere and you can see the curvature of the Earth. So I know it's not flat. But there we go.
But is there a bevel in the window that could make it appear curved?
No. No, absolutely not. In fact, the windows shrink in size. Sorry, enlarge in size at 55,000 feet.
Yep.
Because of the at Mach 2. But anyway, there we go. Sorry, I don't want to change the subject. What I was going to say as an outro, I thought of something. It's called. No, it skipped my mind.
Okay. Right, well, that I'm going to fire up the outro and get this.
Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah, quickly.
Callum.
42. Yeah, before you go on to that. No, gammon sandwich.
Yes.
Let us all have some thoughts and prayers for Gammon Sandwich, who's a good man and apparently doesn't have many months to live. So he's in
I'm
our
really
hearts.
sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, thoughts are with him and his family.
Sorry to end on a sad note, but there we go.
Yep. Thoughts and prayers, and that's very sad. Right, I'm going to get this outro on.
Perfect.
Hello, this is 42 speaking. Welcome to the Resistance. You are not alone, and we shall walk this journey together. What about you, Sean? If one brings a guitar and one brings a voice, then they stand together and make their own choice. Let us gather together those that can perform, and from the scarred timbers build our own platform. We're from that grand house they tried to burn down. There's gold in the ashes if you look around. Let us gather together those that can perform. Then from those scarred timbers build our own platform. Build our own platform. We will sing words of wisdom. We will sing world harmony, melody, and rhyme. We descended from minstrels in old days of yore. We will create a culture as we did once before, forced to stand by as our country was sold. Did you really think we'd leave that story untold? So one brings a guitar and one brings a voice. Then they stand together and make their own choice. They have seen the future, the way forward is clear. Among us still stands a modern day Shakespeare. They have seen the future, the way forward is clear. Among us still stands a modern day Shakespeare. forced to stand by as our country was sold. Did you really think we'd leave that story untold? We will sing words of wisdom. We will sing we will sing harmony, melody, rhyme. Harmony, melody, and rhyme. So one brings a guitar and one brings a voice. Then they stand together and make their own choice. I have seen the future, the way forward is clear. Among us still stands a modern day Shakespeare. With power and wealth, you control the mainstream, but you never realized you could not kill a dream. So we will gather together those that can perform, and from the scarred timbers build our own platform. You're talking the 42. What about the chum? If one brings a guitar and one brings a voice, then they stand together and make their own choice. We will sing words of wisdom, we will sing for all time. We will sing for our people, harmony, melody, and rhyme. We will sing words of wisdom, we will sing for all time. We will sing for our people with the ancient trilogy of harmony, melody, rhyme. We create a large society through not only God but tribe. The gods of water, air, and land brought us through the line. The earth, the moon, the sun, each became a day. Is it or is it just a blind that we let bring excellence in harmony, melody, and pride? With power and wealth, you control the mainstream, but you never realized you could not kill a dream. You cannot kill a dream. And we shall walk this journey together.
Hello.